everyone. I'm so excited to tell you about this podcast. It's called The DK Project, but it's really The Darren Show. So thanks for tuning in. You're going to want to sit back, buckle up, and enjoy the ride.
Let's go!
Welcome, podcast listeners. Another episode of the DK Project podcast is on its way. We got Dave in the co-pilot seat today, and we got a special guest, Mr. Brian McDaniel. How are you, sir?
I'm special.
I'm going to list off some of your credentials here. My gosh.
Got to drop the creds.
Some stand-up comedian.
Yep, sometimes.
All right. He's also on the old Bob Sansevier network. Sometimes.
Sometimes.
He does Wrong About Everything.
All the time.
Weekly podcast.
Weekly podcast.
He does Unregulated Radio.
Weekly podcast.
He's a instructor at a university.
Yep, I'm a professor in American government.
Professor.
Ooh,
And your real job is consulting down at the Capitol.
Yeah, I'm part of the swamp, baby.
My God, your business card's like an 8.5 by 11 or what?
I got to put stuff on the other side.
Double fold. Double fold.
Yeah, the Wrong About Everything podcast is a political podcast, 2 Republicans, 2 Democrats. And then Unregulated Radio is me and comedian Corey Adam. And there's less structure on that one, for sure.
Right. I've been listening to that one.
Yeah.
It sounds like 2 comedians doing a podcast.
Yeah, because fat 40 with a beard. Everyone's got to get a podcast, right?
I want to comment on the beard.
I wish I could grow a beard.
The beard's looking good.
Yeah.
I'm a little jealous of it.
Well, I'm extremely jealous because, no beard. No beard ever.
Well,
I can't grow one.
I went 38 years without one, and I look back at pictures of me without a beard, and I should not have been allowed out of the house.
Well, see, I think a beard could be a form of a weight loss plan because if I could grow it to cover up my double chins, I wouldn't look so fat.
And think how if you grew it all the way down to the belt line.
Knees?
He'd be stunning.
Well, can't happen. How did you all of a sudden grow a beard?
Well, I got divorced, so I was allowed to.
Oh.
Yeah, but it takes a long time. I mean, because it's kind of cute when it first starts, and then it goes, full truck stop. And my mustache comes in last, so I got like a Abe Lincoln thing going. So I have to commit to it.
You almost look Amish then for a bit.
Yeah, it's not good. It's not good. But new wife says she never wants to. She's never seen me without a beard, but she's seen pictures, and she does not approve.
So will you roll beard in the summer?
Oh yeah, I never find it to be itchy or hot or any of that stuff.
And is there a definite temperature, like does it keep you warmer?
No, I mean not that I've found.
That's bullshit.
I've heard people say that it does, but I never found that.
What's bullshit?
That people grow them to stay warmer.
No.
Oh, I've never found that either. And sometimes I let mine get longer. Yeah. I've never noticed a difference.
We could rename the podcast to the Dave Hair Project, dude.
Why?
You still have that simulated mohawk thing going.
It's just because I'm lazy and don't shave the sides, but...
Man, we got to grow up eventually.
No.
Someday.
We don't.
Anyway... We started talking a little Twins when we were off air. There's some shakeup going on. A little 3-team switcheroo. It sounds like we sent the pitcher
Gratterall
to the Sox, and the Dodgers are involved.
We sent him through the Dodgers to the Sox.
Yeah.
Oh, so what are we getting? Was he the pick, or is that Gratterall and a pick? I didn't see the full story.
I'm not 100% sure. I know that the main thing going back to the Twins was Kenta Maeda, who's a starting pitcher, sometimes reliever, but starting pitcher from the Dodgers, who has been pretty good. He's been certainly solid. The Angels got Jock Peterson, outfielder from the Dodgers. The Red Sox got Alex Verdugo.
What are we getting?
We just said
Kenta Maeda.
That's it.
He's starting pitcher. Yeah. I think that's what we're getting.
So we have one.
Well, it's actually a good deal, though. People are all torn up, I believe, because Gratterall throws 100 miles an hour and whatever he can do. But they were going to keep him in the pen anyways this year and not make him a starter. And it probably goes... He had Tommy John's 4 years ago, something like that.
Yeah.
And they probably don't want him to get hurt again, and that's why they wanted to just convert him to a full-time reliever, because he was a starter in low A, high A, AA, and then but then when he went to AAA, they put him in the pen to get him ready to help with the playoff push.
So who's the one with the big contract? Somebody was talking about a $92 million deal that somebody's got to absorb. What's that all about?
He's going. Go ahead.
No, sorry. Well, so going to the Dodgers is Mookie Betts, who's in the last year of his contract. So Mookie Betts is going to asked for $400 million.
Yeah, why not?
He won't get, but whoever signs him ultimately long term will pay, $300 million. And then David Price, half of his contract is being paid by the Red Sox. So, but Maeda, he'll be like the number 2 starter on this team, I think, after Berrios.
He's pretty good. The thing that I like about him is his strikeout to innings ratio. He averages
I saw that good ratio.
You didn't see that. You don't deep dive this stuff.
I don't.
But, he averages almost 10 strikeouts per 9 innings, which is really excellent. But his ERA is a little high, which means that he has a pitch that's flattening out on him and it's getting hit. So they'll figure it out. I like it.
What a baseball mind.
Yeah. Well,
the Dave zone.
If you think the Twins are in win now, this is a win now move.
How many pitchers does that give us? What do we have? So that's 2.
No,
Rios and Maeda.
Odorizzi.
Okay, 3.
Pineda.
What was that one?
Eventually, Pineda.
He's out back in
he's
April?
suspended for a while.
No, May.
What's he suspended
40 games?
for?
He had a little substance of excellence
little
in his
juice.
body.
Chemically challenged.
Blame it on the juice. They got Rich Hill, but he won't be back till mid-season.
He's
Rich
July. He's July.
Yeah, he's our age.
That's a strong, older roller. That's kind of just the All-American name right there, right?
Yeah, but
hey, you know
then-
what I heard last night? We had hockey. They had a 13-year-old kid named Raymond. When was the last time you heard a young Raymond?
I like it.
Yeah. Bringing it back, baby.
They
Anyway,
should
you were
bring
saying-
Hazel back, too, for girls.
Yeah.
Hazel. My great-grandmother was Hazel. I love that name.
I have a friend with a niece, little baby named Hazel.
I love that.
Yeah.
It's coming back around.
So what I was... Oh, back to baseball?
Yeah.
So what I was going to say is we do have some other pitchers that can help in that 5th spot. So I actually love this deal. I think it's... the Twins always are trying to win in 3 years. And for once, they made a deal that will help them win next year, and I really like that deal.
Well,
Yeah.
we got the new third baseman. What more do you want?
Well,
It's coming. We're going to beat those Cubs. Do we play the Cubs at Wrigley this year?
I'd have to look. I'm not sure. But, I mean, it's kind of looking like the Yankees-Dodgers have, like, all the cards. So,
Yeah.
but anything can happen.
It's not. That's nothing new. Nothing new at all.
Yeah.
With Batson, Price, and whatever. I mean,
The
they're
Timberwolves
good
did something
football.
too, didn't they?
Oh, they had a huge deal, but I'm not the basketball guy.
Nobody
That's going over to my
cares.
left here.
Robert Covington got traded. I mean, but I know we got, like, the first-round pick and something else. I'm not as up on that.
No,
All
we
right.
got a conditional first-round pick, so that means it's lottery protected, right? Yeah, that means if it's in the lottery, we don't get it that year. So until they're out of the lottery, then we'll get the pick
Half my listeners just unhooked
for basketball.
basketball. Nobody cares.
Well, at least we're not talking about soccer. They all would have unhooked.
dude, soccer. It's the new American sport.
Kickball?
Hey, we got to talk about the Super Bowl. I know we're a couple days past, but a lot of hubbub about the halftime show.
Yeah.
I was at a group's house, and the ladies were in uproar
Really?
about how provocative the halftime show was.
They didn't like the polls?
Yeah, that poll was a little much. I heard afterwards that it was a play on the
Or movie, Hustlers.
yeah, that's what everybody says, but the GMA happened to be on, and they said it was a King Kong on top of the antenna, on top of the building reference. And somehow they tied that to Kobe. I don't know what it was, but
Who knows?
yeah, I don't know. 50 never looked so good, in my opinion.
Well, I think it depends. Here's what I found, that it's generational. My mother-in-law, who is, all, just hear me, I'm woman, hear me roar, big time liberal. She thought it was exploitive, and she thought that it set, females back, that it was terrible. My sisters-in-law thought it was empowering, and they thought it was great. My daughter, who's 9, and she actually didn't watch the show where I was. That she texted me the next day saying that her classmates were upset by it.
Why?
Well, I mean, I think here's what I think. I'm not Charlie Church when it comes to those things, but I think that it was not maybe not acceptable for a family audience.
Oh, that's probably true.
I don't know. The 15-year-old kid next to me, he liked it.
I bet he did.
Yeah,
he's still liking it.
The one thing I took away from all the boys coming in to see the halftime show is they played that little Led Zeppelin riff in the beginning, and they only knew it as the intro to Call of Duty.
Yeah, I could have used more of that Zeppelin thing. I thought they were going to rip it.
Cashmere that they did?
Yeah, so here's the trivia question I have for today. Do we know how old Shakira is?
I do.
Do you?
I'll guess.
Give me a guess.
32.
43.
Are you shitting me right now?
How good does 43 look?
43.
I was going to say she's like 25.
43 is awesome.
Holy whatever.
Give you a math problem. How many times does 47 go into 43?
One.
Is that math?
I don't know. One.
I was blown away. I heard that and I'm like, there's no way. I thought she was a kid, but evidently she's been around a little bit.
Yep.
Which is cool.
Longer
Good for
than
her.
I thought, though. Wow.
Yeah, no doubt. Hey, what about, I'm just looking at my notes here. I was talking last week about the Aaron Hernandez
Yeah.
doc. Have you seen that?
I did, yeah.
Okay, so I went through it. I got 3/4 of the way when they had gotten to the part where the Commonwealth of Massachusetts has this abatement rule where if you're not alive during your appeal, it's automatically cleared. But now they reversed. Then I went back and watched it, and they reversed it. So now it's back on his record. But how crazy was that dude?
They could do it after. They could do that after the fact.
Well, that's what I was a little weirded out about it. And with your great lawyer mind, I don't understand how that all transpired. They did the abatement thing because if you're not there to represent yourself or whatever in the appeal, then they wash it off the books. So technically, for a time period, he had a clean record.
Yeah.
But then the gal, was it Odin? His mom went back and fought for it, and they overturned the abatement deal. And now they say he's got it on his record again. But I was thinking the same way you are. Like, how do you do that after?
Yeah, it would seem that after the fact that would be hard to do. I mean, I'm certainly not learned on the Commonwealth's laws on that, or if they felt like there was some sort of legislative intent that was not being met. But I remember at the time that the reason why that was important, other than, the Hernandez family not wanting it on his record, is that it made it harder for the Patriots to void his contract.
Well, that's what I was thinking.
It's about the money.
It's always about the money.
Yeah.
So that's what that was, because I was watching it with the wife, and she's like, "Well, who cares? He's dead."
Yeah.
But that has implications on his contracts and all the stuff that he had. Because if his record's clean, he's still dead, but there's probably future money for the family.
Yeah, whether it's I don't know how like life insurance or anything, and I don't know what ultimately transpired with the contract, whether they got some of the money or all the money or none of the money. But I remember that was kind of a little bit of the reason why the Hernandez family was fighting it, is because at the time they were also fighting the Patriots to try to get his contract honored.
You would think that if I kill 3 guys, my contract is null and void clause.
Well, he got
allegedly.
He got cleared on 2 of them.
Yes, allegedly.
He really only killed 1, according to the courts, the Commonwealth.
Well, okay, if you kill half a guy, your contract should be null and void.
That is very
Seems fair.
I'm sure that's the same thing Robert Kraft is saying right about now.
Yeah.
What about the CTE? They showed his brain, and it was like noticeably bad.
Yeah.
At 27, they say it's the worst case they've ever seen at 27.
Mm-hmm.
Now, when you look at it, we just watched the Super Bowl and the halftime show. What about these guys? Holy shit. How are they going to come? They all have it. I mean, really, if that's what causes it, and they did that other show about the whole CTE thing.
Yeah.
What are the ramifications going to be? I mean, we're just going to have a mutant football group that can't function, although there's a lot of older people that are fine.
Yeah.
But does it only affect some people? I mean, do you guys know anything about CTE?
Yeah.
Medically speaking, of course.
But what's your question?
Well, I'm just saying that with the information that's out there and the cases that they've looked into, how is this still going on? Like, this is a major problem.
So first of all, I'll just say that I don't think a symptom of CTE is that you turn into a murderous gangster. But I think that is a little out there for CTE. But there's a lot of people that have had it, and people that have committed suicide on it, and then lived these horrible lives of addiction and craziness because they just can't get home in their own body, in their own head. The NFL has taken steps to pull the decisions of head injuries away from the team and are purely doctor related.
Which they should be.
So like a ref, for example, can literally stop a game and say you need to get off the field and get checked out before you're allowed back in this game. And once that happens, they're in that, the big word is the protocol. Yeah. So then they go off and they're not allowed back until they're medically cleared. I don't know what else you can do other than make it a flag football game.
Yeah, I think that
they just about have.
Yeah, I think that with the CTE, I mean, it's a real thing. And I just saw something because I saw the Frontline report on it, and I saw the movie with Will Smith in it.
Yeah,
and it seems terrible. Fortunately, I have two boys, and only one of them played football, and neither of them were good at it, so I didn't have to worry about them.
You're lucky.
One time, my son was playing safety, and I said, "Well, why are you playing safety?" He goes, "Coach puts me there because it's the furthest away from the ball." But so I haven't had to kind of make that decision as a parent. But I just saw something recently where there were aspersions being sent towards that doctor, the African doctor that kind of came up with it. And I haven't been able to look into it to see whether they're saying that maybe his research isn't exactly what they said it was, or if it's that he was maybe trying to profit off of it. There was some recent controversy about the doctor.
Follow the money.
But if you look at on the Bears, Dave Duerson, he committed suicide. Shot himself in the chest so they could test his brain. Same thing with Junior Seau.
Yes, shot himself in the chest as well with a shotgun.
Yeah,
so they could
Junior
do it.
Seau was kind of the big one that keyed it off, right? Like that because it was, well, I suppose it was kind of the timing of when that Will Smith show had come out.
Yeah.
Because that was the big deal. That's the name everybody kind of relates to it as Junior.
Yeah.
And they talked about it a lot in that Aaron Hernandez deal. It was really a poorly done documentary. Like jumped all over the place. Yeah. It was almost like one of my podcasts. It just went from here to there to here to there. But the story and the CTE portion of it, and that dude was a thug and like not the brightest cat in the world. I mean, good God, $40 million deal.
Well, what I didn't
have to kill somebody.
What I did, felt like I knew most of that story, but I kind of assumed that he came from some sort of disadvantaged urban background, but he was from Bristol, Connecticut, and had a mom and a dad, and kind of didn't come from a gang lifestyle. He kind of adopted that as he got older, and the stuff with his sexual preferences.
They played a lot on that.
It was interesting, but I don't know how much it really was integrated into the murders. Maybe a little bit.
Wasn't that what they're saying? The reason why he probably killed that Odin Lloyd is because he caught him in a compromising position?
They said maybe.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah, they don't know.
Yeah, but when you say maybe,
the whole documentary, they never gave you the hook.
No.
Like, give me something. But it was interesting. I don't know. If you got nothing else to do, check it out.
Not to make it the psychology hour, and I'm trying to figure out how to go into this without turning it into that.
Uh-oh. What do you think about it?
Normal exploration as children, or youths, doesn't turn into what you are or who you are as a person when you're an adult. And I think that there was confusion around that for that man, maybe. I'm not a doctor. I want to say right now I'm not a doctor. I'm not a general prac or anything.
GP.
GP. But I just think that they're playing that up.
The gay thing?
Yep.
You think like a catch thing, like a, I don't even know what the hell you call it, like a soundbite type thing?
I don't know, but you made the great comment that he came from a privileged beginning compared to most of our country.
Yeah.
And he wasn't a gangster when he was younger, and then he started hanging around these dudes, and they start leeching off you and pulling off you and trying to get you, and pretty soon you're going to be a gangster if you're going to hang out with gangsters, you're going to turn into a gangster.
That's true.
And I think there's more relevance to that in the story than there is to this sexual thing in the story.
All right, enough of that. On to the funny.
Bum bum bum.
So give us the preference list. What is your favorite thing? Like, what's your thing? Like, somebody comes up, and Brian, what's your thing? Like, you lead with comedian, or do you lead?
No, I mean, obviously it depends on where I am, but with social media, I would say that at the Capitol, which is where I spend most of my time, the representatives and senators, the first thing they want to talk to me about is comedy. And in comedy, they're always trying to talk to me about politics,
how long have you been in the comedian world?
It'll be 3 years. I started really late. Now, because of all the public speaking I did, I would say that, there was always like a humorous part of the political stuff that I did. But I didn't formally start, maybe it's 4 years, depending on when but I would say the first time I did an honest to God open mic it'll be 3 years in April.
And you think you had a benefit because you were used to the public speaking?
Yeah, because I was never afraid of just going on stage.
Right.
And, I wrote for pretty much a year before I did it. So, and I knew that my material, and they start you off at 3 minutes. So I knew that my material wasn't so terrible. I mean, looking back, I don't do many of those jokes anymore. And some of them I've really retooled now that I know a little bit more about what I'm doing. But, I knew that if I went up there, I wasn't going to embarrass myself. I wasn't afraid. My biggest fear was just, forgetting a joke, which didn't happen.
And so are you a writer, like a writer downer?
Well, I don't need to write down the joke, but I would say that my act is somewhat dependent on sequencing. So I like to have just a set list up there with me. And a lot of comedians don't do that. And sometimes it's a crutch. Then you find yourself kind of looking at it when maybe you don't need to. But because I move stuff around depending on what type of audience I'm in front of, the set list is something that I do employ.
And do you stick to the set list or do you freestyle it? I mean, obviously there's got to be occasions.
I would say I stick to it much more than I don't. Because, it's one thing, once you've kind of made it and, somebody gives you 45 minutes, you can kind of do what you want.
Right.
But when you're starting out, you're getting 3, 5, tomorrow night I'm going to be at the Republic Bar down by the U and I'm getting 7 because I'm closing the show.
That in,
that in there. Mall of America on the 25th. But, because I can't, the worst thing you can do when you're new is go past your time.
Yeah.
They give you the red light. If you blow the red light, a lot of
30-second or what's the?
It could, some places will say, when do you want the light? Mm-hmm. I remember when I used to run a show but I ran it way before I was ready to. I just kind of happened to be in the right place at the right time. And one comedian said, well, I want you to light me at 10 minutes. And I said, I don't know what that is. But yeah, some places it's either a minute or 30 seconds.
Okay.
I time my stuff out I'm pretty regimented.
Are you
at
home
that.
In front of the mirror,
Yeah, a little bit.
Doing shtick?
A little bit. Because sometimes it's not what you say, it's how you say it.
Oh, for sure.
And, sometimes people will take pictures and I can look at the picture and tell which joke I was doing.
Oh.
Do I have my hand up here? Am I pointing back? Am I pointing back here? But yeah, I mean, I'm definitely on the new side, but I feel like I'm integrated into the community now.
I like
That's
it.
awesome.
I'm jealous as hell. That's on my list.
You could do it. You go to a couple open mics, see how unfunny almost everybody is, and you'll get confidence.
I was at an unfunny one the other day.
Yeah.
And I felt a lot better about myself, but I don't know. You think it's then the lights are on and you're like sweating like a pig, and then I'm like, Jesus.
I don't know. You go up there with the beard on, you got it over the steel, and then you pull the.
I want to be able to do it in the next 10 years.
And then you pull the beard off mid-set. Boom!
Hey now,
You're a superstar.
Speedo.
Right.
Done. I was just listening to Bert Kreischer, and he made a good point. He was just doing a show. He just started his new tour, and he had a deaf lady on stage. The sign,
Yeah.
And he's like, it adds a whole nother element. Like, you almost want that because then you can like, oh no, it wasn't him. It was Tom Segura. But it adds a whole nother element because now you can play on her. Like, whatever. He also said he's doing a Spanish tour. And if you find people in the audience that don't speak Spanish, then you can, play with them. I don't know. It was interesting.
I do have one joke that is somewhat dependent on people knowing Spanish. And yeah.
Well, now we got to hear it. I don't know any Spanish though.
My question for the Spanish speakers is: when you go down a slide, do you ever go "No Sotros"? And then some people laugh, and then I say, "Well, for those of you who don't speak Spanish, nosotros means we." Which means that's a fantastic joke, and one of these days I'll find the right room to tell it in. So some people laugh at the second part too. And for some people, that is their favorite joke, and I told it for well over a year with no laughs at all. And
Really?
Then it just kind of hit, and now I'm almost kind of over it. But
So is your full 7 minutes? Is that you bring all the A game? Or do you try out some new shit where you might lay an egg and then you got to
yeah, I mean, if I'm at an open mic, I always try to do something new-ish because it's only going to get good if you do it in front of people.
Right.
But there's some stuff like that I almost always have in it. But some stuff,
Oh man, that's cool. That's cool.
Yeah, no, I mean, if you gave me 20 minutes, you're going to get pretty much all the stuff that anyone that's funny at all. Yeah.
Do you like write stuff that you think's going to kill and then it just doesn't work?
Yeah, all the time.
Isn't that brutal?
There's some stuff I have that I think is so funny and no one ever laughs at it.
Oh.
Yeah, and then there's some stuff that was like complete throwaways and then that's what they laugh at. And sometimes you don't know. I mean, you tell a joke on Monday and people laugh. You tell it on Tuesday and they don't laugh.
I got to think telling jokes on Monday is going to be a bitch no matter what you do.
Well, Monday is where you go to the Acme open mic, which has got the best crowds.
Really? On a Monday?
Because it's free.
Oh.
So a lot of college kids
Except for
go.
the parking.
Well, they have the parking across the street now.
Oh, they do?
Yeah. But, I mean, Acme, people tend to go there to the open mic wanting to laugh. And I did a show Saturday night at a place where I was actually hosting. So I did 10 minutes and then kind of was up and down the rest of the time. And, yeah, it's like people came to the show and they weren't all that interested in laughing at anybody. It's like, yeah.
Like a corporate event where they're...
No, it was,
group?
it was a regular, they paid money to be there.
Really?
Right.
Yeah.
So what's the worst shit the bed episode you've had?
Okay.
Like absolute laying an egg.
Yeah.
I don't want to hear it because it sounds like it's not funny.
No.
But how did you handle it?
Well, here's what it was: is I was on a boat. I was on Lake Minnetonka, not that far from where we are right now. It was a friend's birthday party, and so it was a boat full of people. And she goes, "Well, for my present, I want you to do your set."
No.
And I mean, I'm like, that's not how it works. But she kept badgering me. So I go up there. I'm standing next to the captain. I got the microphone in my hand. I get about 30 seconds into my first joke, and her cousin, Cody, who was 6 years old, Down syndrome, not verbal, walked up to me, put his hand up, like, hand me the microphone. And I expected, I'll give him the microphone and he'll, do whatever little kids do, and then I'll move on. He takes the microphone from me, sets it on the ground, walks away with his hands over his ears. which is the international symbol for shut up. They erupt. They erupt in laughter, and then I got to go up there and finish. It was so I didn't do comedy for 2 weeks after that. I finally get up the courage. I go to another open mic. It was in Cedar Riverside at Palmer's Bar, and I get up there. I start to tell my joke, and then I'm like, you know what? I just got to let you guys know what happened. And I tell the Cody story, and then another comedian, Phil Colas, yells out, "When did that happen?" And I said, 2 weeks ago. He goes, "You've been a real comedian for 2 weeks."
That's pretty good. That's a kick in the nuts.
Yeah, it was.
I thought maybe you were coming off a Down syndrome joke.
No.
Happened to be one in the crowd.
Yeah, no. My stuff is. I mean, I am a filthy, depraved person. My act is on the cleaner side.
Yeah,
Really?
Well, you're co-host for your podcast, the Unregulated Radio.
Yeah.
He is on the other side.
Yes, he is.
I listened to your most recent podcast, and he's not a Kobe fan.
Nope.
He went immediately to the jugular.
Yeah.
And wouldn't let up. He had his foot on the throat the whole 40 minutes. Like, not a big fan. But and you may not do enough edgy material to know, but how long is long enough? Like, how long, obviously Colby thing just happened, but like, have you found any of that? Like, oh, too soon. I mean, obviously the Kobe thing isn't fresh on everybody's head, but I mean, 9/11 shit or whatever.
Yeah,
if you're gonna make a joke.
I mean, I think it kind of depends on. Well, like if you're a known comedian, then people go there kind of knowing what to expect. Like a Joe Rogan or a Nick DiPaolo, they can say something more outlandish than Brian McDaniel can. But like politics, if you talk about Trump, whether the people like him or hate him, they don't want to hear it. They're too inundated with it.
Too much.
So the political stuff that I do tends to be like more like Hillary based or Bill Clinton based or something like that because it's far enough away. I have an Adrian Peterson joke, which I probably wouldn't have told like at the time he was beating his kids. And I have a Chris Brown joke, which probably now is probably getting a little dated. But I tend not to go for the new stuff just because you don't know, and you never know today. Do people know about this, that, or the other? You can't trust that they're reading the paper anymore.
Well,
right?
Can you feel the room? Can you feel like, hey, that Chris Brown joke laid an egg, so I want to get rid of all my early 90s shtick because they don't know what it is anyway.
It depends. Sometimes, the racial makeup of a crowd will make them either, more or less apt to laugh at anything. Certainly the age.
Oh, yeah.
Right.
My sweet spot is, 30 to 50 or, because that's where I am between there. And, they've had the same experiences, divorce and kids and stuff like that. But, you go in front, I have a buddy that works at the U of M and they bring me in for a bunch of stuff. And, frankly, for a bunch of 18, 19, 20-year-old kids, my divorce humor is not necessarily going to,
Gonna go over.
It's not going to hit with them.
No. Unless they're in a real bad breakup with the high school girlfriend.
Yeah, my mom and dad say stuff like that.
You have any White Claw jokes?
Yeah, you need some White Claw jokes.
It's funny you said that where you can't. I'm going to make a rough transition here, but you said that about how you can't count on people to read the newspaper anymore. Yeah. Did you see that article in the paper this morning about a local realtor who started did a listing for a gentleman?
Got her kid that like $218,000. Yeah, I saw that.
Yeah, and in the news article, they talked to, I think it was her attorney, and he said, nobody reads the paper anymore anyway, so why are you doing a story?
Yeah.
No, he did not.
Yes. Like, wow, way to put yourself on the wrong side of the media here, buddy. Well, that story's a little crazy at these times, and that name of that realtor is kind of well known in the area.
Well, I have a client right now who's in a little bit of a fight with one of the local papers, and what they say is true. Don't fight with people who buy ink by the barrel. So don't get crosswise with the media if you don't have to.
But who really? I mean, really, how many newspapers are getting sold?
Oh, all of them. It's so different, because this is my 20th year up at the Capitol, and the Capitol Press Corps was so much bigger and more apt to cover local issues then than they are now when they rely a lot on kind of the national AP and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Well, even talking to Sandy on the Bob Sansevier show, they don't even send anybody for Super Bowl coverage or nothing anymore. It's just there's no money.
Yep.
There's no money at all. It's kind of a dying thing. I thought that story was interesting, though, because of the market being so hot right now with all of the realtors and the flippers. And I mean, I'm kind of in that business when I'm not busy doing this, and it's out of control. And I'm sure there's a lot more of that going on than there used to be. But this particular scenario kind of worked because her kid has a different last name than she does. And but the fact that she pulled the wool over the seller's eyes, that's going to end ugly.
Yeah, what were the facts on that? I mean, did it matter that it was her kid? Was somebody going to make that money anyway?
Well, part of the so the way that I took from the story, and I, like I said, I'm in that business. So what happened is she went to get a listing. And, sold the guy on a price. Here's the price. But we're going to keep it off the MLS. We're going to do it kind of, within my realty company and whatever. So then it doesn't sell. She says, hey, let's drop the price. So they drop the price. Then all of a sudden, this buyer comes in and is getting a good deal. And at closing, the sellers are like, so do you love the house? Whatever. He goes, I don't know. I haven't even seen it. My realtor says it's a good deal, so I bought it.
Yeah.
So now it's come back, and I think they had 7 months, and they sold it for $215,000 more than the original $142,000 price. So the sellers have come back and said, what the hell? Well, they didn't get into whether they rehabbed it, what they did to it, if there was work to be done to it. They just are saying, hey, we got ripped off here. We should have gotten that higher sales price. So there's a few different fouls involved here. She didn't work in the best interest of the client for sure. She didn't disclose that she's related to the potential buyer.
Fiduciary duty and whatnot.
Right. So there's a lot of red flags there, and I being in that business, I never wanted a real estate license because I didn't want to associate with these folks because they're kind of creative. Let's say that they're creative. But yeah, this particular story made the paper, and now it's going to be a big, I'm sure that'll add a 25 and 26th page to the purchase agreement. Because there's only, when I bought my first house, it was, 5 pages, and now it's a novel to buy a house.
I have a Chris Lindahl joke, and they love it.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Is it bashing him?
Kind of.
Let's hear it.
Well, it's not that great. It's something like, I'm talking about my wife, and say I love my wife. I love my wife more than realtor Chris Lindahl loves putting you in your dream home. And then I say, hey, you guys know the difference between Jesus Christ and Chris Lindahl? Jesus Christ doesn't think he's Chris Lindahl.
That's pretty good.
And there's a visual component. I put my hands like he has them
like
in
the buses and the billboards.
Yeah, so I gotta do almost like a mock crucifixion type thing on it.
Right.
It's kind of a throwaway transition one, but that's one too. When I do shows in Rochester or outside the Twin Cities, gotta assume they don't know who Chris Lindahl is.
Right. So then you can't.
Well, isn't there some irony to that too? I mean, there's a rumor going around about how his whole world got started, and it had to do with his now ex-wife.
Yeah. Well,
so
happens.
You're tying it all together.
All together, baby.
Oh,
I love it.
boy.
Hey, after this short commercial break, we'll be right back with more from the DK Project. All right, podcast fans, it's time to talk a little hair. The Hair Studio in Chaska has got some unique opportunities available for stylists who are looking to make a change. If you're a hairstylist in the Chaska area and you've got some experience and are looking to make that move into self-employed, independent booth rental, so you're running your business, give the Hair Studio in Chaska a call. The Hair Studio has a couple of booth opportunities available, and what they're telling me is these opportunities don't come available very often, so don't let this one slip away. So if you're a stylist or know someone who's a stylist who are thinking about making the change, head on over to the Hair Studio in Chaska. They can be reached at 952-368-0900, located in downtown Chaska. And as always, if you're looking for a trim, cut, color, perm, print, wax style, or just need a place to hang out, head on over to the Hair Studio in Chaska, 952-368-0900. Tell them you heard about it on the DK Project.
Welcome back to the DK Project.
I had another note here.
What do you got?
And I know you love talking about this, Dave.
Well, maybe not.
The Prince, the doctor for Prince.
Ooh, yeah.
He got fined $4,600.
Yeah.
$4,600.
Yep.
Come on.
Yep. Come on.
All right. From a legal perspective, Brian, what are we talking?
Well, I mean, was that? I mean, there still might be civil liability, which means that his family could, Prince's family could sue the doctor for.
I believe
civil
that's
damages.
been dropped.
Has it?
The civil?
I believe it has.
Because they're rolling in enough money the way it is?
By selling off all his assets and doing all those things.
I'm telling you, when it rains, it pours. I saw that on the news the other day. I'm like, $4,600? This is the guy who prescribed the additional medication for him, correct?
Yeah, on top of he's the one that someone. So you're gonna make me go again. He's the one that someone decided it was a good idea after he sevened out on an airplane over the Quad Cities a few days before that. Decided that it was a good idea to drive him to the Walgreens and pick up the prescription, and that's the doctor that prescribed those.
Unbelievable.
And then bring him back and then leave him alone in Paisley Park for the night, and then they find him dead the next day.
Was he in there by himself?
Yep.
That whole building in there by himself?
Yeah.
Come on.
Yep.
Come on. There's got to be somebody there. That's crazy.
Nope. They actually couldn't get in. The maintenance people had to come. The son of the doctor that was going to treat him for addiction.
He was the one who's supposed to go there to watch
was
him.
with the not maintenance person, whatever the name. Sorry, but whatever the name is, had to be let in, and then they looked for him and found him in the elevator.
Sorry, I brought it up.
Yeah,
touchy subject.
I just can't believe that you know that he's in that bad a way, and you're just gonna leave him alone.
They're all yes men. Nobody's going to tell him any different.
Yeah, that's horrible.
Nobody's going to tell him any different. That's crazy. But yeah, I saw that on the news. I'm like, I got to bring it up. I know it's a hot button for Dave.
Yeah.
All good. So, Brian, what is on the docket now? You give me. You're doing something at the U tomorrow night or Thursday
at Republic, the bar kind of down by
right.
the, yeah.
And is that an open mic or is that?
It's an open mic. I'll be closing it. So a lot of times, it's that you can go there and sign up. I know ahead of time that I'm going. But yeah, it's an open mic. Yeah.
So you've done this one before?
Correct.
And then you're on to something on Saturday, you said, at the mall.
No, so Thursday night I'll be at Republic tomorrow night. On Sunday I'll be on At Issue with Tom Hauser doing political stuff. Ooh. I'm at the Mall of America on Tuesday the 25th.
Okay.
If anybody wants to find me on Facebook, if anyone wants tickets to that, I get lots of comps for the Mall of America. So slide into my DMs.
Is that at the Bronson's deal?
Yeah, Rick Bronson's House of Comedy.
So who else is there that night?
So I don't know all who's on it. What they call it's Triple Threat Tuesdays. So it's what they call a booked showcase. So it's some comedians are kind of the tip top in the industry. Some are kind of on the new side. Some are in the middle like me. So you kind of get a variety.
Nice.
So when you go to the Mall of America,
yeah.
Which is something I haven't done for a long time.
You look like a shopper.
Oh yeah, right. so is there a back door you get to go in? Because that's what I want the pass for. Like if I ever had to go there, I want the back door pass into the Mall of America so I can head back out the back door and not be around all the people.
Well, I think that if you because there's a specific place I park, which lets me walk right into the fourth floor. Which is where all the comedy club is, and I can kind of go right there and right out without.
I like that.
But yeah, it's also at night. So,
but if you're going there on a whatever, there's never anybody there. It's not full, and not the club, the mall. I mean, it's so big.
Do you know when I go shopping?
I don't think you do.
The 24th of December.
I believe that.
That's my shopping day.
I believe that. But yeah, so we'll go. It's not as bad as you think. Although the wife was just over there the other day doing some stuff, and she's like, they built that hotel on this side. I'm like, no, I don't know. Why would I know that?
Yeah.
Well, now there's this and this. Yeah, I don't know. I don't care. I'm not going. I'm out. One of my first jobs was across the street from the Mall of America. So I used to walk over there for lunch every day.
Yeah.
And then I started to realize there's a lot of people that are at the mall during the day. Why aren't we working?
First law firm I ever worked at was across the street in those kind of brown brick buildings there.
Yeah, Killebrew Drive.
Yep. Yeah.
The Mall of America kind of gives me the same feeling when I go in there, like when I went on the Disney cruise with the kids. Like, let me off this
Why would you do
freaking
that?
boat, man.
Well,
Off.
I like people from out of state who, cause I live not that far from the mall, and they're like, "Oh, it must be great to be able to go to the Mall of America whenever you want." And I'm like, I don't go at gunpoint.
Yeah.
Absolutely have to.
Why would you? They get some good people. I saw Pete Corielli at Rick Bronson.
Oh,
I saw,
the club's great.
Brandon Schaub and what's his name? Brian Callen. All of them. It's rare that I go to Acme to see bigger names. Why is that?
All right, we'll go.
We're going.
We're going.
We're going to the Republic tomorrow night.
No.
We're going to heckle. How do you handle the hecklers?
I think I'm going to New York actually tomorrow.
Yeah, I feel like I don't get a lot of hecklers because I kind of don't go too far afield on stuff. For the most part, I ignore them if I can. But some people just have decided that they're gonna get drunk and make you deal with them, and usually the crowd is more annoyed with them than the comedian. So the crowd, it's sometimes a good way to kind of get the crowd behind you is to go after the drunk idiot that won't shut up.
I love that.
I'm going tomorrow night.
There was a lot of years I might have been that drunk idiot.
I would imagine so.
When I used to have the coronavirus.
So is it a thing where you don't? Is it a thing where you don't go to the mall or the comedy clubs, or are you not allowed?
What do you mean?
Like you've been overserved in the past and decided to state your comedy routine from the stands. Are you
I've never been 86 from anywhere.
A heckler
back
with a
in
restraining
the
order?
Ashbury days or drinking days or whatever you want to say.
So is that what you're calling it now? Is the coronavirus?
Yeah, that's when I had the coronavirus.
That's easy. That's low hanging fruit right there, buddy.
Well, and because, like I said earlier, how I'm kind of sequenced. I tend to just not want to break. I don't want to get out of my own rhythm.
Oh man, I got to see how this works.
I do too. How do you deal with them though? Do you do you have jokes set aside for dickheads, or
kinda?
How does that work?
Kinda.
Yeah.
And most of them I've stolen from other comedians who I've seen like, oh man, that was funny. I'm gonna say that. But
where's the line on that? I've always wondered that. Where's the line on? I heard this in the car the other day, and it's pretty funny, and. I mean, like it's not a part of somebody's show. It's
like stealing a joke? Never steal a joke.
Your words, not my words.
Yeah, don't steal jokes. No one should ever steal jokes. No. But just seeing how they deal with hecklers is something that I'll sometimes I'll repurpose it, but not anything that's like really in their act. That is a very quick way to become unpopular in town.
Oh, I would imagine.
Yeah,
they yeah, that was Joe Rogan did that with what's his name? I can't even think of his name right now, but he stole his jokes. It got ugly. But so is your plan to grow that? Like, is that where you're headed? Or is that...
No, there's no money in comedy.
Yeah,
but it's something that everything leads to everything else. I mean, Minneapolis, St. Paul, small towns. Everything kind of like I've gotten comedy gigs from the politics. There are clients that are interested, in the comedian stuff. So I feel it's all connected and building the brand. But the comedian stuff will never be anything that I would like. Try to use as like an income source.
Your daytime gig's pretty good.
It's okay.
There's a lot more money at the Capitol than there is in comedy.
Well, I say to people who'd like to make fun of the swamp, I say, come on in. The water's warm.
I don't. Exactly. So what's happening at the Capitol? Are they go back to work tomorrow?
No, we go back on the 11th.
On the 11th, and
we have to constitutionally, by the Minnesota Constitution, we have to be done by like the third week of May. This will be a pretty short, uneventful session. We did the budget last year, so the list of things that they have to do this year is pretty small.
So we should talk presidential race for 2 minutes.
32 seconds.
What happened in Iowa?
Oh my God, they screwed that up so much. It's amazing.
How did I haven't followed it at all? How did it get screwed up?
See, Iowa's a caucus state, and Minnesota's a caucus state too. But we actually got rid of our caucuses for the purposes of picking presidential candidates starting this year. But Iowa always gets to go first, or in recent history has gone first. And what it is that the Iowa Democratic Party had set up a new way of voting and a new way of reporting those votes using an app that was created by a company called Shadow Inc., which was staffed and created by former Hillary Clinton. This is not political; it's just fact. Former Hillary Clinton people. And what happened was that as the districts and the areas started to report their results, the numbers that they were reporting were not being accurately transmitted. And so what was happening was that they had all kinds of quality control issues. And, Ilhan Omar says that it was a Pete Buttigieg plot, Mayor Pete from South Bend, Indiana, because he had a friend who was, worked for that company. And it didn't benefit. The only people that benefited were Donald Trump and Mike Bloomberg, because Bloomberg wasn't in Iowa, and now everyone's going to forever, question whether the results out of Iowa were accurate at all.
So, well, and I saw the what numbers are coming out now, and it looks like Buttigieg, whatever you said, is leading.
Yeah, him and Bernie.
Our fair senator seat stealer is now in double digits.
Colobo, but she was fifth.
Yeah,
pretty rough.
Well, and Sleepy's right down there with her.
Sleepy Joe.
Sleepy Joe. So how? They are absolutely just shitting on their own feet.
Well, with Klobuchar, she's just not going to. This will be the best she can do for a lot of states because, in New Hampshire and in South Carolina and in the Super Tuesday states, they don't know who she is at all. So I think she needed to be second or third in Iowa in order to be one, to raise money, but two, to be kind of an attractive vice presidential candidate for one of the East Coast elites,
right?
And need like a Midwest moderate. But they still could pick her for gender balance or geographic balance, but I think that she has shown that there's not really going to be a Clobo bounce.
So why? When do we stop hemorrhaging money? Like, what is that her whole thing? Is it's a play for vice president now?
Well, some people say vice president, some people say attorney general, but some people say that, with Bernie and Elizabeth Warren being so far to the left, with Mayor Pete being so untested, being the mayor of the fourth largest city in Indiana, and with Creepy Uncle Joe, being...
He is creepy,
goofball.
By the way. He's total goofball.
You could make an argument that she had a chance to kind of, because who was Barack Obama? Who was Bill Clinton?
Right.
Sometimes you just stick around long enough, but charisma is the key to opportunity, and that's not Amy's thing. And for those of us who work in politics, all the horror stories that come out of her office as far as staff, we've known about that forever.
Right.
Those are not like one or two disgruntled staff people. That's well known in the industry that she is very hard to work with.
She's not nice.
I don't know. I've thought it was a long shot from the beginning, and I've stayed strong with the why did you take the Senate seat if you knew you were running for president?
Yeah.
Right.
That means you got no confidence in your own chance of winning.
Yeah.
I want to have this backup job.
On this Iowa thing too, it's important to know that these, like last night's vote there, or 2 nights ago, was ran by the DNC. It's not they're in control of it.
Well, they would say it was the Iowa Democratic Party more than the DNC.
Well, I'm sure they would.
But the money was DNC money.
Correct. So it's really, wouldn't you agree, it's really ran by the DNC. And I worry when you put all those hands in the cookie jar, I worry, like in my head, I kind of think that, Bernie's going to win. We can't have that happen. Boom. There's a problem with the app.
Well,
that's how I see it.
Yeah, it's not rumored that the DNC cheated for Hillary. It's a fact.
Absolutely.
That the DNC cheated for Hillary. And what you see with Bernie getting the real momentum, because even though he maybe got second in Iowa, he's going to do well in New Hampshire, and Mayor Pete has some racial issues, which will probably hurt him in South Carolina and in the South. So yeah, I mean, to see them try to maybe take down Bernie again, but I don't think they're going to be successful this time. I think Bernie's going to be the Democratic nominee, which is what every Republican thinks is super awesome.
I think it gets burned. I don't think they let that happen. But you're probably way more than I do.
But no, I mean, I would have given Donald Trump a 0% chance of getting the Republican nomination and a 0% chance of becoming president. So it shows you what I know.
What about what's that other thing that's going on today? Aren't they voting on the impeachment?
Oh yeah.
Today? Oh, all of a sudden that got overlooked as a minor detail with this other train wreck.
Everyone's over that.
That was a minor detail the second they started it. They botched that thing from the start.
Foregone conclusion.
It's really bad. The Democratic Party's spiraling.
Well, okay. And you're going to have to help me with this because you're much smarter on this than me. But there's one thing that really annoys me right now about what happened in Iowa, and I'm sorry to go back to it. So all these people are in an uproar that Bernie's getting screwed.
Yeah.
Because there is popular vote and then there is delegate vote. Okay? Which is the same thing basically as they want to abolish with the Electoral College. So I look at it and I'm just like, can we get on the same page, DNC? Like, can you guys and your followers, I'm an independent, strong independent too, but I just think it's crazy that the way the wind blows is the way everybody goes. There's no, the people in the middle there's very few of them right now. They're either way over here to the left or way over here to the right. And nobody acts on any information or news or anything. It's all a reaction. It's all craziness. Does that make sense what I'm trying to say?
Yeah. I mean, I think both parties do a terrible job of catering to the middle. And part of that, I blame Twitter, to be perfectly honest, because it used to be in the old days, Senator Kaymeyer took a controversial vote, went back to his district and said, here's why I did it. Now, as soon as he takes a vote in, 280 characters, he's either a genius or a Nazi.
Right.
And it makes everybody kind of stick to talking points. The Electoral College thing, people complain about this, but it's doing exactly what it's supposed to do. What happened was that we had the Articles of Confederation that didn't work, and in order to get big states and small states to agree to the new Constitution, they had to be protections for small states. And the small states, that is why you have a Senate where you have all states represented as being equal, and the House. So that was the New Jersey plan, which was for the small states. The House of Representatives is based on population. That's the Virginia plan, and that's what the Electoral College. It's to make it so you don't just have to get Texas and California and New York and then ignore everybody else.
Right.
So what happens if they want to eliminate? What's the other option?
Never going to
never happen.
Free for all.
They have to amend the Constitution. And then once again, small states. I mean, if you're Kansas, if you're Minnesota,
the horn.
We're going to go over.
Yeah.
On the political segment?
Yeah, just a little bit.
You can't do that.
We have to.
God.
Just a little bit.
Fine.
Sorry. I'm not. Hey, you're in charge. You can call me out.
I'll just turn you off.
Okay. So then here's the other thing. And I think this is fascinating to have somebody that we can talk to that has an inside track of it. And you've said a few things about a candidate from Minnesota that I've known about for a long time, too, because I have friends in that environment.
Amy Klobuchar.
And I think it's very sad that gets thrown under the rug because we don't want to say anything bad or true about our candidate or our side of the aisle. And that's where I come from, this far left, far right thing. Last night on Twitter, or not on Twitter, on Facebook. I'm currently banned from Twitter, by the way.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, you rebel.
Yeah, I brought up...
Were you sending selfies of your swimsuit area again?
No, I said something I shouldn't have said and wrapped it in with what happened in Libya. What? And how now there's a slave trade in Libya, and it didn't... about a certain individual called Hillary, and it didn't go over very well.
So how long Twitter are you banned for?
Life.
Life?
Mm-hmm.
We'll be posting that on the DK project.
Can't even get it anymore. It's all been, they got rid of me.
Really?
Yeah.
What exactly did it say?
I can't say exactly what I said
Really?
on here. No, I know it's live, but I don't want to offend anybody.
All right.
With what I said, I'll tell you what I
glad you brought
said.
it up then.
I'll tell you what I said,
All right.
but I won't say the words I said.
Oh, okay.
I said, Hillary, I can't believe that you would bring that up after what you did in Libya by taking out a dictator. And I know you didn't personally do it, but you had it done. And then left Libya to a slave trade of African American people that then you say you protect. And then I posted a picture or a video of the slave trade, the auction happening in Libya. In about 5 minutes, my Twitter account was gone.
Dude, you need to get a hobby. If you spent that amount of time...
Okay, is everything I said accurate?
I don't know that I'm that learned on it, but I mean, would it surprise me? No.
No, it's accurate. So, and I'm not taking over the show. Just give me another second.
No, but that, with your Twitter now being removed, that now gives you more time to post about the DK project on your other handles and social media stuff.
It does.
You're hanging yourself out to dry with Hillary.
Yeah, I just did.
God. So now what? Now you're gonna have to go under another name?
No. So last night I'm thinking I'm watching the Trump thing. I don't know how to do it.
How to do what?
Get back on Twitter. I don't want to get back on Twitter. I don't like it.
I didn't even know you were on there. So
No, well, I'm not. I've been removed
did this just happen?
a couple months ago.
Maybe you need to pen a letter.
No, I don't care. So then I'm watching this last night, and right after the debate, all my friends on the right are like, that was the greatest thing I've ever seen. And all my friends on the left are going, lies, 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 lies. So I simply said this on Twitter. Okay.
You weren't on Twitter anymore.
I mean, on Facebook. I'm confusing the two.
My
Come on.
bullshitometer's going off like crazy.
You can look
I'm
it
having
up.
trouble hearing.
On Facebook, I said, I understand that, I'm paraphrasing, understand that everybody's calling these lies, but you need to put a lie in there after you say it.
Oh, I saw that.
To make your point valid.
Right.
Or you're just championing, this is basically what I'm saying, the words of other people and not like, holy crap.
That's how the
Immediately
left
there's
has a
like
discussion.
65 people hitting me up, and it's coming from the right and the left. And again, there's nobody in the middle. Our country is so fucking divided right now. It's unbelievable, and it scares the shit out of me.
It's not getting better either.
Well, I think...
Sorry to take over the show, but that's
just all right. I'll just cut that segment out.
Okay.
Brian and I were talking about it before you got here. How the State of the Union last night. How we're not setting a very good example when Trump won't shake San Fran Nan's hand and she tears up his speech. I mean, what a bunch of classless moves. Let's set an example if we want to. Say yay or nay, whatever. Obviously there's a lot of filters that could be added to all these people, but let's just start at the top. Show some respect. I mean,
Right.
I don't care for Nancy Pelosi at all. I
Neither do
don't,
I.
but I'm still going to shake her hand when I see her. I'm still going to be civil.
Right.
Which I think it's difficult to get down to where you're talking to these people on whatever social media it is, and they all have problems with this, that, and the other thing. Well, it starts at the top, and these kids today, they're just shitty. I was at a hockey game last night, and they're all fighting and whatever. There's no respect, and that's where your problem is. And I think until we get that or find a way to get that, it's just going to be a big shitstorm. I mean, really, come on.
By the way, San Fran Nan had another copy of it sitting underneath the one she ripped up. If you watch right at the end, she's doing this whole thing. She looks down and makes sure she doesn't mess with that copy, rips the other copy up, and the other one's the same size, everything is sitting right there.
I don't watch any of that stuff. It's all political entertainment.
You know what
Horseshit.
the mentality of
I agree with
of
you. It's
her would be?
horseshit.
Is she would rip that one up, and then as soon as it's over, she'd take the fresh one over to get his autograph, just so she has it. Somebody did comment on that on social media today, like, when was the last time a president was signing autographs after a State of the Union speech?
Barack Obama. He did though.
People say to me, "Well, you just watch Fox News." I'm like, man, I can't. I mean, it's been. I think the last time I remember watching Fox News was like 9/11. I don't watch any of that stuff. It's not news. It's political entertainment.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Well, and I was listening to somebody yesterday. Was it you guys? It was your podcast that was talking about somebody was going to run for Barack Obama's seat.
Oh, Mike Ditka.
Mike Ditka.
Yeah.
And if Mike Ditka would have won, the name you know.
The name you know.
The coach?
The coach.
The coach was going to run for
we would have
Senate
never
in Illinois.
had Barack Obama.
He didn't do it, and then Obama was the one who ultimately ran, but nobody knew who Obama was then.
And no one knew who Obama was in our country until he spoke at the DNC convention. That was 2 years before he got elected, right?
That's to remember.
No.
Who would put...
4 years before. Sorry, 2.
If you were a gambling man, which I know you're not, do you think anybody could beat Ditka in Chicago and in Illinois?
Maybe now, but probably not then.
I don't know.
It's pretty. I mean, he's pretty conservative, and Chicago's not.
Yeah.
Ernie
true.
Banks, Mr. Cub, ran for alderman in Chicago as a Republican and lost.
Are you kidding me?
I'm not kidding you.
For the people out there, go learn about Ernie Banks
Yeah, he's
and
amazing.
then rethink what just
Party
got
lines,
said.
baby.
Yep.
Well, now they have the thing where if you're going to vote, you got to tell them which party you're with.
A lot of states already have that. We don't. We have open primaries here until kind of now. So we've never had. And people will say, "Well, I'm a registered Republican." Well, in Minnesota, you don't do that. This is getting closer to that.
Well,
Why did they change it?
Well, because they wanted to make
Democrats.
sure. Because
well, it is. So the Republicans can't sabotage the Democratic.
Well, because what it used to be was you didn't have to declare whether you were Republican or Democrat, but you could only vote in either the Republican primary or the Democratic primary.
Only one.
But then no one would know which one you did. Since we moved from the caucuses to a presidential primary, now just because of how they crafted it, they can tell whether you did Republican or Democrat. Not who you voted for, but which slate of people.
Right.
And the people are trying to change that. I mean, like I said, I'm so inside, I don't really care one way or the other. But if they think that that's going to make people not want to vote because they don't want people to know whether they're one side or the other, then it's bad because you don't want to have a disincentive to vote.
Well, basically, you need to be able to fog a mirror and show up at a polling booth to vote because we'll let anybody vote.
Yeah,
but
in Minnesota.
Now we need to know which side you're going to vote because...
Well, in Minnesota, we have same-day voter registration. Other states don't have that.
Stupid.
You can walk in there with a phone bill or something, right, and vote.
I mean, they have. I mean, you can even vouch for people sometimes.
Yeah, I think that's kind of weird. Can I vouch for somebody driving a car when they're a .20?
Sure.
I mean, I just don't understand why we don't have to have. I don't understand why voter ID is not a thing.
I mean, we don't have enough time for me to get into all that because I could go on forever on it.
Well, we far exceeded the political segment already.
It's already state law that you have to have either a Minnesota driver's license or a state-issued ID card. That's already law.
Yeah.
It is not racist to make somebody comply with the law.
No.
And polling on that was 70 to 80%. But it was on the ballot the same year as marriage equality. And what the pro-gay marriage people did is they said vote no twice. And they were so well organized that that's how voter ID lost. I mean, it's not racist. I mean, I talked to my students about it, and they're shocked that someone would think it's racist to just prove where you live.
Right.
It seems to make sense.
Yeah, but...
not always.
I have an opinion on it, but it's not shared by everybody.
1 and 2's not always 3.
Hey, on this show, which it'd be awesome if you come back because we can continue this segment for a year. He's looking at me like, no, dude, you're not. David, you're gone.
I'm not saying. I'm just saying. My listener numbers would drop through the floor. So we got to wrap this bitch up. Yep. Your political segment ran on.
Sorry.
People have to work. They have jobs.
Hey, it's what's in the air right now.
So, Brian McDaniel.
Yeah.
Wrong About Everything is on every podcast
any
network.
place you want to any place you find podcasts.
Unregulated radio. You do that with Corey Adams.
I do.
Two Comedians
Yep.
podcast. You are at the Capitol comedy shows, everything going on. Tomorrow night at the Republic, 7 o'clock.
I think it starts at 7:30.
7:30. That'll be Thursday.
Yeah, Thursday free show.
So it'll actually be tonight.
That's a free show.
This is a tomorrow thing. Free show. And then check it out. What is your best social media?
You can find me on Facebook at Brian R. McDaniel, and same thing with at Brian R. McDaniel on Twitter and Instagram.
Perfect. And as always, you can find Dave on Twitter at DAVVID because, the David one is gone now. So we have to get creative. So maybe he'll start posting about the show. Anyway, we're going to wrap this thing up. Everybody tune in next week. Check Brian out wherever you can find him. Go see the comedy show. I'm going to be there at the Republic because I got to see this happen. So I'll give you a full breakdown next week on the show. So everyone, until then, take care.
Peace.
Yep.
That's it. That's the end.
That's a wrap.
Bring the shtick.
That's a wrap for today's episode. Don't forget to subscribe and tell all your friends. If you'd like to reach out, you can use the studio line at 612-504-6500 or by email, thedkprojectpodcast@gmail.com. And of course, there's always social media at the DK Project Podcast. Thanks for tuning in.